Hi,
Hello,
I'm Julian.
and I am Tom.
We are Team Binge, and we are back to talk about Ted Lasso. This is season 4, episode 1. This one was called Home. Tom, did you ever think we were going to go home again? We left Ted Lasso several years ago. I guess there was some money left on the table, and they decided to come back for more. We started as a Lasso podcast. We've continued on with others, but I'll go first, Tom. I'm glad we're back home. I had a delightful time. It was good to be back with the team, you know?
I'm with you, man. It was just fun to see, and like obviously seeing these characters now in a different element in KC and seeing all these like spots in Kansas City. I work for a company that has locations in KC, so I've been there a handful of times. So it was also fun to see some of these like touristy spots, but. Yeah, it was just fun. Like, it's just the fun-loving nature and heartwarming nature of Ted himself is great, and seeing it like rub off on the people around him and how it's changed other people's lives. I had a fun time with this, and I'm kind of excited to see where this season ultimately takes us.
I did too. Tom, I don't think it's a secret that you, in your professional life, are a actor that performs as Colonel Sanders for KFC. I think that's... Oh, wait, that's Kentucky. Never mind. That bit doesn't work. Cut that one out. But I just want to point out, for those of you that have joined us since Ted Lasso, we started as a Lasso podcast. The whole premise was I watched the show and loved it and felt like it had a lot of heart. And for those of you that don't know, when Tom's not acting as Colonel Sanders, or Major Sanders is the Kansas Fried Chicken Company. He loves soccer or European football, whatever you want to call it. We're in Kansas City, so let's call it soccer. And
Yep.
so it was fun to get the sports aspect from Tom and what he knew and what I didn't know on that side. But with me having already watched, I think, season 1, and then you joined in and we talked about it. And so it's just good to be back on a familiar pitch. You know what I mean? And I don't know that shows do this very successfully when they take a long hiatus to come back and try and run it back. But with this first episode, it's funny. The juxtaposition of, Ted being a fish out of water in London for the pilot, and then these guys coming to his home turf of Kansas City and like using that as a, hey, let's get the gang back together, I thought really worked. I laughed quite a few times. And I don't know, it took me a beat or two to like remember Ted Lasso's cadence and that he's not doing an SNL character the whole time. It took me a little bit, but once I got into it, it was like sliding into a warm blanket. A warm Kentucky Fried blanket, Tom. That's what you guys are known for, right? You guys manufacture blankets? Is that
Yeah.
correct?
Missouri, Kentucky, Kansas, it's all the same.
It's all the same, and they're all the same blankets.
Yeah, but I liked these like English characters now becoming fish out of water here in Kansas City. It was fun to watch, and again, I'm with you. Like the show picked right back up where it left. I think we were kind of like not necessarily sour on the idea of a 4th season, but we thought it ended so well with the 3 and wrapping up that story. I do like Ted coming back and not just being pigeonholed back into like, oh, Richmond got relegated, so he's got to come back and coach the men's team to success. Like, I love the angle of bringing him on to kind of join the women's team that's being started for Richmond, and I think we're going to have a lot of fun.
Yeah, I don't know that there's two better qualified people than you and I to discuss representation in women's sports, but Tom, we've been brought here to do it, so I'm excited. I do want to point out that it's funny to go from the other shows that we've done where it's all just gobbledygook and nonsense about, I don't know, people time traveling or living in silos or living on haunted islands in the Northeast. I had to remember that this show a lot of times is about things, like real things that matter. And
Right.
so it did take me to be like, oh yeah, I remember this show's funny, but also it's trying to teach me things about being a good human. A lot of times I resist those things. I say, no, don't teach me anymore. I am who I am and I cannot change. But I just appreciate being back with Lasso.
We did discuss, like, I think very, very early on in the first season of Lasso that you were trying to join, like, or essentially reach a Lasso level. Like, Lasso level 10 is, like, peak optimism, great person, kind to others, regardless of how they are to you. I think by the last pod, you said you were Lasso -7.
Yeah.
So I think you went the wrong direction. Where do you feel like you stand now after a little bit of retrospect?
I don't think I can name my Lasso level. I think that comes from the people that live with me every day. And I guarantee my wife and children would be like, we don't know who Lasso is. Dad's mean. Like, that's probably the most. He's judgmental and mean is what they would tell the audience. So,
okay.
I'm
well, we're going to
sorry.
start you. This is a new season. I'm going to start you off at Lasso level 0. So you can either increase or decrease. So let's do it, buddy.
We're level setting. All right. Well, I look forward to this, but let's dive into it, Tom. And we start with Lasso's new job, which I want to start here, Tom. He spent 3 seasons coaching a premier soccer league, right? And
yeah.
Tom, I'm not real familiar with the salary ranges of these football teams that make, I don't know, millions to, I'm sure the popular ones make billions of dollars. Sports franchises, I found out as I've gotten older, very lucrative. I did not get in on the ground floor. I had a chance to own part of the Arizona Cardinals, but I said, no thanks. I went with the Coyotes, and we've seen how that's gone. But why is Ted in Kansas City working? And there's nothing wrong with being an assistant manager of a grocery store, although this episode really took some shots at assistant managers of grocery stores. Does this guy not have anything? He seems like a saver. He didn't bank any. How much was he making as a manager of a football club in England, Tom?
Oh, he was making easy 7 figures. Why he would come back to take this specific job, like, I was thinking about that, like, in the writer's room, they must have gone through a bunch of different ideas, because it doesn't really seem that important in terms of what he's doing, because he's only doing this for an episode, but it does seem odd to put him in, I don't know, I guess it's like the assistant coach style role, like a Beard style role is what they're maybe tying at, but working at a grocery store did seem a little bit jarring for his skill set.
Yeah, they gave him the Dwight of the grocery store. They made him assistant to the regional manager. I don't know. Could we not have had him open up his own barbecue joint? He loves barbecue. He has a little coin in his pocket. Restaurants also lucrative. I mean, Salad and Go is thriving. I just read about it in the news. Turns out if you only charge people $5 for salad, it's not a sustainable business. Sorry, Salad and Go. We'll miss you. You were awesome. But I don't know. I'm fine with it. I enjoyed him still coaching, still mentoring. He sees his cashier stealing cigarettes. He's talking to this older woman about not smoking, even though she looks like she's doing fine. She's thriving at conservatively, 100 years old.
You have so much more oxygen than I have.
Oh, she's drinking it up, through the straws. But I don't know how I felt about Ted. Instead of talking to this kid about stealing stuff, he had to go through this old charade of him stealing it. It was a great sight gag and very funny. I was laughing. And leading to him look the kid in the eye and being like, I can't go back to prison is a great line. I'm holding court in the streets. I'm not cuffing up. I mean, all those lines are great, but I don't know. We could have just had a conversation with this kid, right? He's stealing Apple cigarettes.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he could have had a conversation, but then it wouldn't have stuck with the kid. Maybe whatever happens here. And I love he says oh, they caught us on the cameras, and you think oh, this is just Ted teaching him a lesson. But then the manager, a scene later, says hey, why were you stealing all this stuff? And he doesn't. He doesn't throw him under the bus. He takes. He even says oh, I was just kind of messing ball, so I'm sorry I did that kind of a thing. Didn't say I was teaching this guy a lesson. It was classic Lasso.
Yeah. He took the fall, but also he's trustworthy enough that his manager isn't thinking he's actually doing something wrong. Also, his manager then pointedly eats a Butterfinger, which he's obviously stolen from the grocery store. So I think there's a little bit of. I never worked in a grocery store, Tom. I don't know if help yourself to some free stuff if there's a level of that goes on. But
sure, 5-finger discount.
Sure. Sure. Okay, fair. I think that's different. And honestly, police come for Tom. He just admitted to it. Jimmy, we got him on mic. All these years, we finally got him admitting to a crime. This has all
Bring
been
out the
one
gotcha
long
girls.
sting. Bring out the gotcha girls. Oh, man. He does have a quick conversation with a former player who obviously Ted had some effect on these football players that he coached. This guy seems to be thriving. This whole scene was just to point out that while Ted has helped others grow and thrive, Ted himself is not necessarily thriving. Mm-hmm. Even though he's getting free candy bars. So what more could anyone want, you know? I did like the wife's reaction. She's like, "This is Coach Lasso?" And he's like, yeah. He's the man.
Yeah, why can't you work at a grocery store? That's fine. But like, I really liked this idea of bringing back and kind of tying back in like why Lasso went to England in the first place. Of like him being a college football coach, him going viral with that dance, like bringing back an old player to say that he is a role model to you. Like I definitely had some of those coaches back in the day that, you know, I looked up to, and they were great coaches that did more than just teach me how to play a sport. Like They were teaching how to be good people and good men, especially at like the collegiate level that he was coaching. So I like that little tie back.
Sure. Yeah. No, I was uncoachable, but I appreciate that there were some coaches in your lives that helped you out. And forgive me, a coach did not call me uncoachable. My parents called me uncoachable. So just want to be clear on that.
Well, the coaches did behind your back.
Yes, but. So they told my parents told them. They were all on the same page. Anyways, speaking of talking to teachers and everyone being on the same page, we have a Henry and Michelle visit. I guess Henry is having trouble at school. I didn't understand this in terms of he has some lyrics in his notebook that didn't seem terribly offensive, but I don't know if this was just to show that like schools are a little bit too, I don't know, alarmist. I didn't really understand what we were learning here, other than they wanted
Julian.
to get. Is that well?
Schools are woke.
Listen, Tom, I've been saying it on our other podcast. Schools are woke with Julian and not Tom, because Tom won't join me in the conversation. But I didn't know what we were trying to say here, and I
was confused.
I knew these were lyrics. I didn't know what these were lyrics were for. Tom, I'll be the first to admit it.
Yeah, I do like Public Enemy when this is Flava Flav, right? Like, I mean, I feel like I've heard some Public Enemy songs.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm sorry, that's not your
Flavor Flav could be a type of tea. I mean, no, he was on a reality TV show, so that's how I know Flavor Flav, I believe.
Yeah, he was great. But I would venture that there are much worse lyrics of Public Enemy songs than what we were provided. But yeah, maybe it's just kind of a play at schools being a little bit too... I don't know. We'll just call it woke, I guess. But I don't know. It's kind of silly. But yeah, it was a silly exchange. But I do have to ask you, like, we're bringing Michelle back in the mix here. And as we end this episode, it does seem like she's heading with Lasso. What's your take on Michelle? I know you weren't a big fan of her in previous seasons.
Well, we hated... Well, I'll back... I'm an ally, Tom. I don't know. I believe that's on pod. But I hated her in season 1 because it absolutely made no sense as to why she left Lasso. They never really explained it to us. And then she started dating their couples therapist, which seems like a real stab in the back. So I think enough time has passed that I'll forgive it. This actress that plays Michelle is extremely charming, and she and Ted seem to be getting along quite well as they co-parent Henry. All of that is good. So enough time has passed that I am like not on the anti-Michelle train anymore. I do think it is very funny that they show Ted as a very like active listener, someone who's concerned about people. He's constantly asking like about the details, like, and he's like, "Oh, you got your hair cut," like these things that like once again show Ted to be a pretty like, I don't know, emotionally invested and intelligent individual, only for him to get distracted because kids soccer is happening behind her. I was like, come on, you can't show him to be like a great dude and then, so on the nose that he sees kids playing soccer and he's just like, Michelle, shh, he like puts his finger to her lips and he's like, someone's playing soccer somewhere, I can sense it in my bones. I thought that was a little bit strange, but they are trying to point us back to him like missing coaching, essentially. I get the point.
Exactly. It was a bit heavy-handed here in this scene, but yeah, it's just showing that he still has the itch to not only coach soccer, but I think he just enjoys and loves the game at this point.
So he drives home. He's driving a rad vehicle, Tom. One of the raddest.
Honda CRV, baby. Now, again, Honda CRVs, got no problem with them. This is not what a Premier League soccer coach would be driving.
No.
Did you not see Nate in that previous season? Wasn't he driving like a James Bond car?
Yeah, like a Maserati or something like that. Yeah, no, I'm with you. I do think it's funny. TV shows do this when they get a sponsorship from like a vehicle company. They shoot it like a car commercial. And
Right.
so like even in, let's go back to the first Daniel Craig James Bond, from the airport in the Bahamas, he drives like this weird Ford rental car and they shoot it like a car commercial. But you're like, that's James Bond. He should not be in like a Ford Taurus. Shots at Ford Taurus again. I'll take them all day. This they shot once again like a car commercial, but it didn't make it look nice. It just made it look like a crappy Honda CRV. And I thought it was very funny how they did this. All of this leading to the gang getting back together. I like how they shoot the shoes getting out of the car and like the shoes representing the personalities of the people that have showed up. And so we finally get to see Rebecca, Keeley, and Higgins. And this garage door bit was pretty funny, where they're like, did he see us?
Yeah. And then he throws open the door and screams, "What?" Like at everybody.
Yeah.
That was great. I do appreciate we got to see Higgins shoes like as a New Balance. I'm more of a Sketcher guy myself, but
Sure.
good to see he was getting that good art support.
Sure, you're often wearing those Skechers that like help you exercise. They like are mushy heeled, so they burn calories. Yeah, I
Exactly.
know your game, sir.
I slip right into him, my man.
Yes, I don't doubt it. You cut out the back, so you don't have to tie your shoes anymore. You can just slip into them.
I haven't tied a shoe since '96.
I love it. I love that for you, and that's why your back still works. So then we go to the barbecue joint, and was this a real barbecue joint, Tom? I know it wasn't like the Arthur's, where Tom once was very nice to get me a barbecue sauce from the show that was quite good, but I did not recognize this label.
Yeah, I think this is a real place there in KC. I mean, it would make sense because I think Ted Lasso. What's the actor's name? Jason Sudeikis, right?
Sudeikis,
So
yeah.
he's from KC, and I think he loves to put all this kind of stuff in there. So I have sadly never been to Gates. It looked delicious. I have been to Casey Joe's, and I would say that'd be my favorite Kansas City barbecue joint.
Okay. Other than maybe when I throw those ribs in the microwave and you come over to my house, right? So that would be your favorite barbecue, correct?
Correct. Yeah. Close second is Casey Joe's.
Right. When the microwave has all the congealed fat leak off those ribs that have been pre-cooked. All right.
I feel bad for Higgins in this scene. Like the ribs looked good, but he had to shove ribs in his face while delivering lines at the table for quite a while. It must have been brutal to
No,
shoot.
I also don't think that actor had ever eaten a rib before because he seemed to be struggling all over the place. I love that there is a running theme where Rebecca keeps dripping sauces on her, like she's always beautifully clothed. And when it happens, Lasso goes, "Battle wound," which I thought was just a great way to describe that. And we get listen, it's a showism, but it worked. He's like, hey, 10 seconds, let me know what you're working on. And essentially, Keeley is working on developing this Richmond FC women's team. And Roy is still around in the picture, but they're friends, which good to know. No mention of Jamie, and I think we know for sure that Phil Dunster is not regular cast in this season, right? He may show up, but not going to be a huge part of it, I believe. Correct?
Correct, yeah. And we know Roy from the end of season 3 is the head coach for the men's team for Richmond. And from this conversation, it seems like Roy is still kind of pursuing Keeley, but Keeley is not quite on board.
Right, because Roy, his knees are bad and he's slow, so he's pursuing her, but it's more of like a fast trot. And I got to be honest, Keeley, despite her shoe choice, looks pretty sprightly in terms of her sprinting. So I think she's just staying a couple of lengths ahead of him. Is that how you describe when humans race? Are there lengths? Probably. I think that's a thing. We find out that Rebecca and I believe his name is like Mathis or
Matthias.
I was so close, Tom. I was. If you'd given me 10 more minutes, I would have gotten there. But you had to jump in like a show off. We find out that he's the Dutch guy that she found on the boat, also a pilot with a daughter. Mm-hmm. They are still in a, I guess, long-distance relationship, although he's a pilot. Can't he make that a short distance by just flying there? Is this a Keely and Roy pursuing each other thing again? Is this all just a race to these people? What's going on here, Tom?
It's an amazing race. Yeah. I mean, I like it because like Rebecca has found somebody that clearly has they've got a love there, sure. And it doesn't force this character to like be in every single scene. Like I'm sure he'll just kind of show up in a handful of episodes this season. And I like the actor, and they had a great episode in the end of season 3, right?
Sure. And he also, as predicted, she wanted to become a mother. He has a daughter. I feel like there is a relationship developing there because
remember when they told us that psychics were real in that one season?
Yeah, Tom. Yeah, I remember that. The matchbook and all that stuff. It all came true, right? Yeah. Let's move on. Let's just remember
she did.
Season 1 was incredible. Season 3 was good. Season 2 was something. And season 4 looks to be pretty good. So let's just... Tom, I'm Lasso level 1 positive, my guy. Hey, don't be judgmental. Be curious, my friend. Be curious about the show, not judgmental. All right? Oh, and be a goldfish. Don't remember all the negative things about the show, Tom. Remember the positive things. Be a goldfish. Boom! Level 2! I'm there!
Man, I feel like you just got like a couple t-shirts with those sayings on them and you just rifle them off, but I am proud of you. Yep. I do like how we get that Rebecca said she watched Breaking Bad and her response was hilarious. That was pretty good.
Yeah. No, she definitely seems like someone who was rooting for Walter White in a non-ironic way. But yeah, no, that's great. And then I like that Higgins' big development is obviously still the family man, but they got heated floors, and he's super stoked about it. I thought that was very funny. Great.
I do want to call out, I know this is a barbecue joint, but there are way too many pickles on this table. I am on record on pod saying their pickles are dumb, and just want to say that again.
No, peanut butter pickle sandwiches forever. Dill pickles on bread with peanut butter. Try it, everyone. Also, you can never have too many pickles. That's the Lasso way. Put that on a t-shirt, sir.
Listen, you asked somebody last pod to send us emails if they tried a peanut butter and pickle sandwich. How many emails did we get, Julian?
Dozens. There are dozens of us, Tom. Dozens.
It's gross.
In my defense, we never get emails, so it's that wasn't going to be the thing that really got people on board with reaching out to us. So, all right, the whole reason for their visit and the crux of the episode and what will lead to this season is they would like Lasso to come and teach the women's team, and I thought it was, once again, this is one of those moments where you're like, oh yeah, this show's got heart. He makes the joke, oh, are you hiring me to sabotage this team too? And she's like, no, I hired you for all the wrong reasons last time. I want to hire you for all the right ones this time. And she even talks about like the culture that he implemented with the men's team. She wants to bring that to the women's team. So I enjoyed this moment, and I found it touching.
Yeah, I liked it a lot. And I like how we know going into this season from all the trailers and everything that this is like the crux and he is going to be coaching a team. So I'm glad they didn't like hold this off for an episode or like tease this anymore. Like she came right out and said it, and like essentially ends with telling Coach Lasso to seep on it, which I thought was great.
Sure. Now, I think there is like an undercurrent with Rebecca, and we see it maybe deeper in the episode, that she is hesitant on this idea or doesn't know, I guess, from the business side, whether or not it's the best investment. You have like Keely being the motivated, like we can get this done, this is going to be great. And then I think Rebecca looking at it from a more like realistic business side, that there's hesitation, right? Did you get that in this episode?
Oh, for sure. It's very much like the Parks and Rec dynamic with Adam Scott's character and Rob Lowe, right?
Okay.
Like, I don't know why I'm blanking on their names, but like Rob Lowe's like, yeah, this is going to be great idea. And then Adam Scott has to come in to say, no, this is a terrible idea. We financially cannot do this. It's
Right.
very much that same dynamic.
Okay. I didn't see that, but I appreciate a callback to Parks and Rec forever and always. I also appreciated the callback that they do here, where in season 1 we have all these English words that Lasso is learning, and in this one he like drops a bunch of American words because we're in the US of A, and I thought this was very funny.
He ends with a line that says like poop French fries into our diapers, and I'm like, is that a reference to something specific? And I know like that, I don't know, like is poop the line of like poupée, like when Jamie Tart said that, is it like a callback to that? Diapers are nappies, French fries are chips. Like I couldn't make sense of like what that was supposed to mean.
I don't know, Tom. All I know is that I was going to make a joke about how that was normal slang and all the cool kids know it, but I can't even do that. I don't know what he was doing, but I thought the other things that he said were quite funny. And yes. I just appreciate them turning it on the English people and that America wins. That's what I loved about this moment. Mm-hmm. If we missed it there, for those of you listening, let us know what poop French fries in our diapers means. You can reach us at teambingepodcast@gmail.com. No pictures. We do not accept pictures. AI or otherwise. So just let us know what we missed there. Speaking of people that are reaching out to each other over the internet in a completely normal way, Rebecca and Tom?
Matthias.
Thank you.
Matthias. Yeah.
Oh, no, don't hesitate, sir. Just go with it and I'll agree with you. Have a bit of sexual chemistry over Zoom. I enjoy this bit where he talks Pilot and she's turned on by it. All of that leading to his daughter popping on screen and making it a little bit awkward about, I don't know, playing sports with oneself. We are a podcast for children, so I can't go into it, but I thought that was all pretty funny. All of that leading to Higgins showing up, and was this bit, he's jet lagged? Is that what's happening to Higgins? He seemed to be struggling through this. Too much meat and no sleep? Is that why he's struggling?
Yeah, it's a brutal combination. Keely and Rebecca seemed okay. I don't know if they got better naps on the plane. They were on a private jet, so if they needed to nap, they could have napped. But it's hitting him hard. And he looked pretty disheveled. Did you see his hair?
He did look pretty disheveled. That's true. Lasso show loves a disheveled haircut to express to us that the character's going through something. Thank you. I bet his feet are just cold. He's been living in a house with heated floors, and now he's not, so he's probably not sleeping very well. But the
Makes
news
sense.
we get from Higgins, and to go back to Rebecca's hesitation, is that another women's football club has folded. It's the press release was that it wasn't financially viable. And so this is playing on, Rebecca's mind as well.
Yeah, and it's the idea of like the women's teams are like draining the money from the men's teams because men's teams are what bring in the money. But like I think as we'll find out throughout the season, like women's sports is just exploding, like not only here in the States but around the world, and it's fantastic to see it getting more of a spotlight.
Sure. No, and to your credit, Tom, you attend both male and women sporting events. You are agnostic. You love them both in real life. So me, on the other hand, I will say no to both because I do not like crowds and I do not like trying to figure out parking. So I am a equal, no thank you, I shall not attend person. So
this is true.
That probably reflects poorly on me, but I gave you a compliment, so that was something.
There's level 2.
Yeah, so level 2. I think that actually gets me to 3. I'm going to write down 3.
No,
I'll be done by the end of this episode. I'll be at 10. All right. The one thing I want to point out is a name is dropped here who, I don't know if they explain it, but from what I gathered, because that team folded, that coach is now available. And so Rebecca makes the comment of, if we have no one else, we can maybe reach out to this Alice Chilton, who seems to be very unlikable. But that is my assumption, that because this team folded, she's available and she will become some sort of, I don't know, villain, or maybe join the team as Ted's assistant. I don't know, assistant coach. I don't know how it's going to play out, but this name was noted and my TV watching brain said, write it down.
Oh yes, 1,000%. And I know from the trailers, like there is definitely another female coach that comes in to assist with him and Beard. But I don't know who that character's name is, who she is yet. So whether it's a rival coach, like a Nate kind of situation, or an assistant coach, I would venture it's going to be the new assistant coach. And then they'll kind of butt heads and hilarity will ensue.
Sure. Speaking of Nate, who's played by Nick Mohammed, I don't know if people know this, but he plays a minor role in The Martian. My children love the movie The Martian, and we were watching it the other day. And he is definitely, he works at the Jet Lab, and is pretty. He has some funny moments. Tom, there are rules when we listen to hip-hop. Now, I'm going to pay you another compliment. I have been in the car with you when you have listened to hip-hop, and you say all the words enthusiastically, which, I don't know how people are going to feel about that. But I like Ted's rules. We hear, or what are the rules, Tom? Give them to me.
Yeah. You hear all the words, but you can't say all the words. And then he implements a new rule. There's no more writing down the words, which I think is a good life lesson.
Sure. Not one you live by. Once again, I think I pointed out, you say all the words because you're a terrible human. Oh, man, now I'm back down to Lasso level 1. I insulted you. This is tougher than it looks, Tom. I think I have to give you 7.
That's all I can ask.
I think I have to give you 7 compliments now. That's the rule. If you insult someone, you got to give them 7 compliments to bring them back up. That's what my mom always said as she was insulting me.
Well, it's a sandwich, man. You got to put it in between the loaves of compliments.
Okay, sure. You're an ally, but not a racist, Tom. Let me just get that one down.
I think we do get Higgins later with going to the baseball museum and him just being very awkward and great, yeah.
Oh, it was incredible. I look forward to talking about that. Okay, what did you think about him telling Henry about the job offer on the way to the soccer game? As a guy that needed to focus before you hit that leather ball filled with air across the pitch, Tom, are we putting too much on Henry before he's got to... I mean, this clearly affected his game out there, right?
I mean, he scored a goal. He did fine. And, he's trying to do some Mbappe-style level of skills. I'm okay with that. I don't think he should have been taken out of the game. But it is an interesting reaction from him. And I guess with the show, because he just seems disappointed or sad. So are we supposed to take it that he's sad that his dad is choosing him over something he loves? I just don't know what to take from this.
Well, my assumption was he has had his father back for a while and he gets to spend time with him as opposed to the long distance thing. So I think, as any of us would who have healthy and strong relationships with our fathers or parents, I think he sees this as, dad's going away again.
He's going to leave. Okay.
Yeah, that's how I felt. But it was pointed out to us early that Henry's going to graduate in 2 weeks from, I'm assuming, high school? Although...
No, he's not that old. I felt like they said elementary school or something. I was confused about his age in school, and they obviously recasted Henry for this season as well.
Oh, you didn't think this was the same Henry? I thought this was the same Henry. His name was Henry, Tom, and he's playing Ted's son. How could they replace him? I mean... Irreplaceable. So, yeah... I guess maybe they were just pointing out that the end of the school year was happening, so it's convenient that he can go to London at the end of the episode. But I guess I have no concept of how old Henry was. But, and his disappointment is palpable. This leads to our group of friends all watching his game. And did we get one episode with Ted's mom where she visited London, or did we get more than that? I remember Rebecca's mom more than I remember Ted's mom from the earlier seasons.
I want to say maybe got like a phone call or something like that, or references obviously to his mom, but I don't know if we ever got her on camera, but I could be wrong. But she was an interesting character to say the least.
Yeah, no, she's great. So she's leaving Kansas City for, I'm going to assume, Florida. I thought the most, I don't know, unbelievable thing was that she found a community of retired people that doesn't allow Fox News to play in the common areas. I'm pretty sure that's the opposite, but, who knows? And we get a little conversation about pickleball, which is the equivalent to, I don't know, a sport that a lot of people love these days that I think is silly. Let's see. Ping pong's too close. What's that slam ball where people stand around a net at the beach and like smack the ball into it? I would describe pickleball as the equivalent to that. But I liked her. She's like, it's loud. I think she described it.
Yeah, it's louder and you don't have to move. No, Apple did just release a movie on their platform called The Dink with our boy Jake Johnson. Did you watch that yet?
I have not watched it, but I did read that it is above average, and so I will give it a go because I enjoy him quite a bit. Did you watch it, Tom?
Yes, my wife and I just watched it last night, and it was a very fun time. It kind of like harkened back to me for like Happy Gilmore style kind of thing, where he was like the former pro and he turned to pickleball even though he hated it, but was very good at it. It was a fun time, so
nice.
I would recommend it.
Okay. I think Ed Harris is in it, so yeah.
Yes, he plays his dad.
I'm all about mean Ed Harris hating on pickleball. I would describe myself a little bit as an Ed Harris hating on pickleball, if I'm being honest. And
he's your spirit animal.
Yeah, and grounding Pete Mitchell, also known as Maverick. You're never going to fly again, Maverick. All right, let's go.
Anyways, Ted Lasso.
Yeah, sorry. We've talked about 8 other things. That's for our pickleball pod. Pickling with Julian and Tom.
Gross.
All right, I wrote in our outline X a bunch of times because I could not for the life of me remember Michelle's name. But Michelle and Ted on the bleachers, she knows something's up. And Ted tells her about the job. And you can clearly see that she knows Ted well enough to know, even though he doesn't want to admit it, that he does want the job. He wants to go back and coach. Yeah,
for sure. And you get that good callback to, I think it was season 1 when
Couples
essentially,
therapy.
It's like, hey, if you want to tell me something that, instead of lying to me, like tell me the truth kind of a thing. So she gives the Oklahoma line to him, and that's where he kind of opens up. So it's kind of cool to see them both still doing that and adhering to it. Like Ted's like, I don't really know what I want at this point.
Yeah, I'm interested to know if in the long game a reconciliation between these two is what we're supposed to be rooting for. They seem to get along quite well. There seems to be affection for one another. And once again, enough time has passed that we have forgiven Michelle for leaving our sweet, sweet Theodore, so...
You have. I never said I did.
Oh, you're still... Oh... Well, you never were in the beginning. I was always the one that... Do you now hate Michelle, Tom? On pod? You definitely don't think she should be the head of supply. We've got that on record on the Silo pod.
No, I don't know. I mean, I'm with you in the previous seasons. Like, I did not love her character and the choices that wasn't her fault as a character. Like, just how they wrote her, I just did not like it. And it hung up Ted for so long. And, you wanted him to kind of move on. So if he's going to come back and... Like, if they're going to do some sort of reconciliatory relationship kind of thing, like, if that goes south, that would just be, I think, brutal, and I don't think Ted deserves it.
Yeah, I think they either make it happen, don't do the will they, won't they, because that will just make us all frustrated.
We don't need another Sam and Diane.
Exactly, from Seinfeld. So, we have Henry, I guess, messes up a pass or something, I don't know. His coach yells at him. Tom, I will give you the floor here. My ears perked up when this coach is yelling at the players. And I thought it took me a beat. Honestly, I thought this was a Lassoism, but you explain what happened during this process.
It was great when the coach first kind of comes in. He's like kind of cheering on the team, and he tells and screams at them, "Set the tone," which is a famous and classic line from the show Shoresy, Canadian hockey show that you had me watch, and it is one of the greatest sports shows in the history of sports shows. Couldn't recommend it enough. So great to see that line get called out. And I'm not sure if they were like paying homage to it or if it just happened to be in here. But I mean, the coach did seem like a jerk, so I don't know.
If Shorzy and Lasso got together, like, and discussed coaching philosophies, I don't think they would agree on much, but boy, oh howdy, would I watch that. That would be absolutely incredible.
That would be.
This leads to Henry gets pulled, and then we have this, like, hey, Henry, you want me to talk to your coach? And like any kid, he's like, please don't embarrass me. And then Lasso goes and talks to this coach, and this coach is just like, over it, annoyed, and I don't know if this was just like Lasso can't help himself want to be a coach and his desire to do that. I didn't really understand what they were. I kind of, from the coach's perspective, I bet it would be annoying to have parents constantly coming up and saying things to you about their like player and the time they get on the pitch. But I thought this was confusing as to what we were trying to say with this coach and his relationship to Ted.
Seems like this coach is just like a wannabe Nate. Like, I don't know, reminding Ted of like these coaches that can be jerks. I don't know.
Sure, I don't know either. I think Henry made a bad pass, and I should be benched for multiple games, if I'm being honest. Honestly, should have taken his jersey, send him in the locker room. That's where I'm at. You got to set the tone, Tom. Can't win, don't play. That's what I've learned from Shorzy, the greatest coach ever. All right, let's focus on Lasso, Julian. Lasso. We got to get our levels. We got our little levels. Next day, we have Keely and Rebecca hanging out, and I love that Keely loves Kansas City. She's all about it. There's a wishing well. I don't know what she wished for. I'd be fascinated to know. They talk to a security guard who's super nice, and Rebecca's complaint is that everyone is so nice and shares too much, which I thought was also great. Leading to the Dazzle Me More store.
You'll get there.
I'll get there. Dazzle Me More. Whatever it is. Why was this store in the show? What was this supposed to be other than to give Rebecca the coolest pantsuit that anyone's ever worn ever with a bedazzled eagle on the back? What were we doing here?
I don't know. I guess it's a side quest, just having these two ladies shop and then kind of talk about the KC of it all and how great it is. I don't know if this is an actual local joint. It seemed like it was featured enough to potentially be, but we get it later when she does eventually get the pantsuit that apparently the store got the T-Swift bump of one of the dancers like Instagramming or something. So good to hear T-Swift getting mentioned. Obviously has the KC connection with Mr. Travis Kelce. So.
I guess, and I'm just realizing it now, the store owner's story is that she got the money in a divorce settlement and she put it into the store and it's her dream. And that is the exact same thing, that happened with FC Richmond for Rebecca. She got the team in the divorce. So I guess they're just showing us parallels. So
yes.
Speaking of parallels, Tom, let's dive into Higgins' side quest. Where Higgins, a man about town who loves jazz, can't go to the jazz museum because it's closed for a private bar mitzvah. And so he ends up at the Negro League Baseball Museum. And the play on the race joke is funny, but it's even funnier because he's English and he knows nothing about baseball. And exactly. I just thought they set him up so nicely to put his foot in his mouth so many times, once again because he's English, not necessarily just because he's white. I don't know. Yes. I thought this was all very funny.
It was a very great gag, and I love how awkward Higgins gets because, like, we know him. We know him as a character. He's like a nice, loving guy, and had the whole team over to his house for Christmas. Like, he's great, and the idea of making him even more awkward just because he knows nothing about baseball, just like Ted knew nothing about soccer, is great. Fantastic.
Right. And I loved how he gets his tour. He doesn't know anything about the heroes of this league. The gentleman that's like taking him around talks to him about Satchel Paige and what like a legend he was. And Higgins like not knowing that name, but then the guy describing it in jazz terms, and then Higgins like it making sense to him as to how important Satchel Paige was. And in a different show, I would be like, I got it. Like, they're a little bit heavy-handed about the relationship of representation of women in professional sports, as well as the struggles of the black community to like enter the MLB and what that became. Like, you could argue it's I thought they did it well, and I thought, once again, this is a show that like wants to have some bigger meanings than just a silly show about English and Americans trying to operate in each other's sports. And so I thought this was really well done.
Yeah, it's not afraid to like take on like social commentary, social issues. Like obviously that was very big in season 2 with a lot of the stigmatisms of like psychiatry and seeking help for mental health. I thought was great because they have a lot of problems with that in professional sports. Yeah, I love the show and I love what they're doing. They also had the fantastic quote that he kind of gave of Satchel Paige saying like, there ain't no man can avoid being born average, but ain't no man that got to be Common, which was great. But then my wife looked at me, he's like, well, except for Common, the actor. which was fantastic for my wife. Also Common on the show Silo, which we are also podcasting on. So poor Common, he's always going to be Common.
And I'm on the record. I love Common. I love him now. I'll love him forever. And I hope he shows up in this show to arrest them or arrest someone and throw them over a silo balcony because that's what he does best. Uh-huh. Higgins does make the... he points out the similarities between the female league and this league, and we find out that I guess there was a ban on women playing football in England, and I looked it up. It was from like 1920 to 1971, where the football league would not let women play, and so all of this leading to a very funny line with, after Higgins put his foot in his mouth several times, being like, is there a gift shop that I can support? I thought was just wonderful. And then the physical comedy of him practicing pitching, which came off more like a cricket pitch than a baseball pitch, I thought was just a beautiful moment.
It was good. And he does visit this gift shop, right? Because he's wearing that jersey through the rest
Monarchs.
of the scenes.
Yep, yes. That's right.
Love
that's
it.
right. Cut with this scene is the back and forth of Ted's mom, who is holding a garage sale. And Ted's mom loves to, I don't know, negotiate, get a bargain, fleece people, I would argue, maybe a little bit. And I thought this was very funny with her back and forth, making up stories about... Tom, did you ever have a garage sale when you were growing up? Did your parents ever have a garage sale that you participated in?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, I just remember it would be something that my mom wanted to do, and my dad would be so furious because he's like, I don't want people like coming in and touching my stuff, and like to have strangers walk into his garage. He would just like seethe in the back, but he couldn't do anything about it because my mother really wanted to have that garage sale, and that's how
you guys made dozens of dollars.
We did make dozens of dollars. All right, and as Lasso is cleaning out the house, he like goes up to his room. And we see a plaque on the wall and the reminder of like the kind of tragedy of Ted's father, that he passed when, I had to look this up just to refresh, but his dad passed from suicide when he was like 16, and he sees this plaque on the wall of his dad's like successful sales career. And so that's what brings out some of the conversation he has with his mom.
Well, and there's a really cool like kind of Easter egg when Lasso goes into his, I guess, old childhood bedroom. You see that dartboard on the wall, right? And we know from the first season that like he played darts with his dad, and that was like a very big bonding moment. So to kind of have that in the background, which then transitions to this kind of Salesman of the Year kind of plaque that's on there, it was great and well done.
Yeah, some nice callbacks. We have this conversation where Ted brings up that, hey, I used to love going with Dad to work. Like, it was exciting, and he loved it. And the mom very, poignantly pointing out that, hey, it was less about the visit. It was more about you getting to see your father do something that he loves and, like, his enthusiasm for his job. And, Tom, let's go on record, man. This hit me like... there's an argument to be said, like, do we all go into our job every day loving exactly what we do? And I was like, man, I wrote my resignation letter after she gave this speech to Ted, and I sent it in. So this is what I'm doing, Tom. This is all I'm doing. You and me talking on mic every day for 8 hours a day, So be ready.
Listen, if we can turn this podcast into a full-time job, then maybe I would be doing the job that I love, and my son would love me that much more. But right now I'm doing a job that I enjoy. I don't say I love, but I do it because it puts food on the table.
Sure. Which I think there is also an argument that could be said, hey, sometimes you have to do the things you don't want in order to, like, spend time with your family and provide for them. So
exactly. This is very much a showism, right? It's like giving... essentially Lasso and Henry an out to be able to say, like, oh, Henry really wants this. He wants you to be happy.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And also the idea of, hey, take your kid to work with you. Ted's like, oh, my son can also travel with me to London. And so
yeah, he's now old enough.
That's where the idea is forming in this conversation. Mm-hmm. Cut back to Rebecca and Keely talking about the team, and I believe this is as they are walking to watch the Kansas City women's football club play, and you can tell that Rebecca is continuing to question, like, the viability of this, whereas Keely is just like, hey, we should get our own stadium. This place is awesome. We should, she's full bore. Rebecca's a little bit. And going to this game, Keely is like a kid in a candy store. She just seems thrilled with the whole, like, production that's happening and the fans and the fireworks. And you can see the motivation rising in her. And I do think that you can also see in Rebecca, she's watching, like, Lasso. She's watching Keely. And, like, it is also gathering her. And the other ally here is Higgins, who is now on board because... he has been to the Negro League Museum, and he, like, wants to help the women's team grow, and this is important. So I thought that was all interesting, all well done in this.
Yes, agreed. Like, he doesn't want them to be common. He wants them to be immortal, which
right.
I loved.
Exactly.
But we see, CPKC Stadium, the first women's stadium, professional stadium for women's soccer, which was fantastic. And I did have to look it up. I wasn't sure what the team's name was, but they are the KC Current. And it was kind of fun because it definitely seemed like these were probably real players. They were probably filming a real game, and it was fun to watch.
Yeah, it was super cool. This leads to the plane ride home. And so after the high of the game, we are on the tarmac of this private plane. Rebecca is smuggling conservatively 600 pounds of barbecue back to... I'm assuming you've got to take that private plane to a bigger plane to go home. I don't know. Can you fly a small plane like that across the ocean back to Europe? Who knows?
Sure.
And ultimately, Ted says, hey, listen, I appreciate it. Thanks for the visit, but this is home, and I'm going to stay. So he's not
home
taking
is a state
job.
of mind, my man. Yeah. Rebecca throws it out there.
Yeah, she does. And then he says something like, hurry up or you'll miss your plane. And she's like, it's my plane. It's going to wait for me, which leads to him being like, oh, I thought we were doing a Casablanca thing. It's been a long time since I've seen Casablanca. Tom, when's the last time you saw Casablanca?
I have seen it, but I felt like I saw it maybe back in college. I think I had like an English course that was like English/classic movie thing, and we watched it. So it's been a minute. When I heard him say this, I did not pick it up as a Casablanca reference.
Sure. I didn't either. And I love that Rebecca's like, I haven't seen it, won't ever watch it. I don't know what she hates about Casablanca, but very funny.
I think we do see in the next scene where Ted goes to his house, like there's a poster in his like by his front door of Casablanca. So it was front of his mind.
Yeah. Okay. I'm sure that's a callback that we're missing in some way, shape, or form. But she gives him the pink box, which was typically biscuits, right?
Yes. Instead of getting biscuits to the boss, it's biscuits from the boss. But yeah, not biscuits, it's tea. And it's got the line, let it steep. So I guess I do like how we get this. It's a tea bag. You assume like he's just going to throw it away. But he actually does put this in tea. And we're like, oh, he's turning a new leaf. But the close at the end of him trying to have the tea and spit it out or say, nope, not for him, was fun again.
Was very funny. A great callback. And how disappointed would you be if you thought you got a box of cookies and instead you were given one tea bag and the note that says, hey, think about it? I'd be pretty disappointed because I would be ready to consume all of those biscuits in one sitting, and I don't care for tea either. So this feels like not a gift. This feels like a threat, if I'm being honest. A threat directly from Rebecca.
That's exactly right. You can read into that a little bit more. Let it steep is more like, hey, let this knife slowly steep further into your back.
Right. Beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you for that. Beautiful moment here as Ted is driving back home and they're playing a song, and it's the guy from Mumford and Sons singing, but it's not a Mumford and Sons song. It's called like Going Back to Kansas.
John Mumford, right?
Sure. Willie Mumford, Molly Mumford, Michael Mumford, whatever it is. I looked this up. This is like based on a Bob Dylan song or Bob Dylan lyrics. Very nice song. He goes into his office, which we see is like a shrine to his coaching time at Richmond and all the memories. And we do see him about to enter this room earlier in the episode, but then Henry arrives and he like closes the door almost like this is something that he does not spend a lot of time in because he does not want to give the impression to Henry that he like misses it or he regrets leaving it, right? That's how...
I think so. I didn't initially put that together that he tried to open this door or didn't ultimately go into it. I mean, they do this little cut of earlier in the episode what Henry's room was just like a mess, and then he comes back without, like, I guess, telling Henry, and then Henry cleaned it up and he made like a little smile. I wasn't sure what that was supposed to be referring to. I guess, like, Dad, I'm going to be a better kid, so you'll go to England to coach this team? I didn't know what that meant.
I thought it just meant that the housekeeper came through and cleaned up his room for him. I think that's where all his Richmond money's going. He's paying someone to clean Henry's room. Tom, you clocked it. I clocked it. I know you were salivating. What did you think of the Lego set of the Richmond team and cast in Lasso's office? You love a Lego.
Oh, I do love a Lego. I'm surrounded by Lego in my office right now. I loved this whole scene because it's just riddled with nostalgia and all these callbacks of like the picture with Nate and Beard, just all the little things that are in there. I think there was even that little like drinking water bird thing that was in like his therapy sessions with Dr. Sharon. I guess he took that from her and brought it back. There's so many little great things that I'm sure I missed and people will clock, but by far this Lego Stadium was my favorite. Yeah,
there was definitely a modeling photograph of Keeley, which I thought was a little bit inappropriate, but that's fine. I guess it's a memory of his. Remember when she was dressed like a panda or a lion or something for a modeling shoot in season 1? That was funny.
Yeah. You're always a lion because you eat the panda.
That's right. Thank you for remembering that. I enjoyed how they did this. I thought this was like a fun, clever, obviously an Apple product, so we're using an iPhone.
Yep, good guys use iPhones.
Yep, he texts Michelle, hey, what would you think about us going to London? The reply is, a change of scenery would be nice. What would Henry think? This is Henry. I'm on board. Oh, by the way, Mom's also on board. I thought this was really well done. If you could argue it's cheesy, but I enjoyed it. I thought it was a lovely note to end the episode.
Yeah, I like the idea of that it was Henry. And again, very cheesy because this whole change of scenery was something that Michelle and Lasso, like they had this conversation. So him to use this exact word, this Henry texting, doesn't make any sense, but it is fun for the show. The callback of him not charging the iPad was also a pretty funny little moment to kind of throw in here. But I do find it wild that this decision to leave the country for whoever knows how long, both Michelle and Henry here, with under about 30 seconds, is pretty wild because that's upending your life quite a bit.
Well, I would argue that they have already spent a couple of years with him overseas and they did not like it. They've had him back we have pointed out that Michelle is not enjoying her work or her job. And so you're right. It is abrupt. Maybe, as in most shows, a little bit more communication is needed. But for a TV ending of a show that we've returned to, I thought it was a really nice bow. All of that, as you pointed out, to him ending with the sip of tea and him going, nope. And so I enjoyed it. I thought they did a really nice job. I laughed. I didn't cry, but there was some stuff that I thought was poignant. And so I very much am excited. I will be the first to admit I was not excited because I did not know where they would take this. And I still don't know where they would take this. But this first episode did get me pretty excited to see where we go in this fourth season.
Yeah, and I'm kind of glad. I wasn't sure how long they were going to linger in KC. I'm kind of glad it was only the one episode. It seems like they're going to be on the plane very much a la Ted and Beard in the first episode of the first season, heading to England and then kind of getting back into it. And I'm just very excited to see two of my favorite characters in Beard and Roy come back because they were so great.
Yeah, no, we'll get them back. We'll get them all back. Although the ones that aren't showing up, we won't get back. So we'll get most of them back. I rephrase. Jimmy, if you'll edit out where I said we'll get them all back, because that's a blatant lie. For those of you that are joining us, for those of you that took a several-year hiatus from Team Binge only to join us again for Lasso, welcome back. We have done a number of shows on Apple since then. Dark Matter, Silo, Widow's Bay. If you are listening to us now and you have not watched Widow's Bay, I would encourage you to go give that Apple show a go. It was a lot of fun. But if there's something we missed, if you have thoughts or ideas on this episode of Lasso, you can reach us at teambingepodcast@gmail.com. If you are enjoying us and you'd be so kind to take the time to hop on Apple Podcasts, write a review, leave 5 stars. If you listen through Spotify, hit the 5 stars and the follow. We very much appreciate it. And we have always appreciated people reaching out and letting us hear their thoughts. If you do write a review, we will read it on pod and give you a shout because we appreciate you taking the time to do that. Tom does the other socials. Tom, my newsfeed said that MySpace might be coming back, so we'll talk about it off mic. But just let's put a pin in our MySpace discussion. But you do the other socials, Tom. Go ahead.
Yeah. I saved our handle, but I haven't been actively promoting on MySpace for some years now. But yes, at Team Binge or at Team Binge Podcast. Follow us on all the major socials. Let us know. A couple other shows I think we've covered that Julian didn't mention on Apple TV: Bad Monkey, Severance, Pluribus. All fantastic Apple TV shows that we couldn't recommend enough. All super fun. And again, it's fun to be back to Lasso. Like you said in the beginning, man, this was the podcast that started it all off for us. And we've done, since that first season, 250 some episodes of this silly Team Binge podcast. And it's been a joy to do and chat with you. And it is like comfort food coming back to this. So excited for this season.
I am too. For Team Binge, I have been Julian.
And I have been Tom. Until next week, everybody.